Hi, it's Jeff Cooke here again, and welcome to the first episode of a new series called 5 Minute Theory. Okay, don't run away screaming. I know it's theory, but what we're going to try and do, the reason why it's called 5 Minute Theory, is we're going to try and cut down to the basic nitty-gritty of theory and just do it in really small chunks. So hopefully we'll do a lot of this series, but you can take it one at a time and you don't feel like you're wading through a load of technical jargon. All right, this week we're going to talk about scales and chords and how they interlink. Really important how this works together. You can learn a lot from this. Okay, let's see how it works. Okay, this is scales and how they make chords, or how chords are made from scales. Right, let's start with a basic major scale. This could be any major scale, but in this case it's C major. Okay, we have one octave of C major. If you don't know what an octave is, it's basically from the low note C to another C, which is the next one in order. We could go up to a C there, but we only want one octave. That would be 2. Okay, now there are 8 notes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Later we'll learn to name all the notes, but at the moment we only need to know that there are 8. The first one is C and the last one is C. It's usually referred to as the root note of the scale, the C note, because it also gives the scale its name, C major. There are many other scales, but we're only going to talk about the major scale for the moment. Major scales will give us major chords. Minor scales would give us minor chords. But as we say, we're only going to talk about the major scale and major chords for today. So how does a major scale give us a major chord? Right, now this applies to any major scale on any major chord. If you want to find the chord of C major and you know the scale of C major, then all you do is you pick the first note of the scale, number 1, which is C, and then we go up to the third note, 1, 2, 3. That's the second note that we want. Okay? And then we go up to the 5th note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the 5th note is the third note that we actually want for the chord. So let's put those together. We've got the first note of the scale, we've got the third note of the scale, and we've got the 5th note of the scale. Put those together, we get this sound. You could do this on a piano as well if you know where those notes are. That gives us a C major triad, or a C major chord. Technically, all chords should have at least 3 notes in them. Anything less than that is not a chord. That includes power chords. They're not really chords because they're only 2 notes. Okay, so we've got a C major triad. When we play a C chord, the most common C chord, we're actually playing 5 strings. That's also C major. You might ask, how can that be C major when it's got 5 notes in it and you just told me we only need 3 notes to make C major? Well, if we look at the notes that are in this chord, we've got C, we've got an E, which was the third note, and then we've got a G, and that's our major triad, C, E and G. Then if we look at what's left of the C chord that we normally play, you'll find that this note is another C. Remember the octave? Okay, and we usually play the open note on the E string, which is naturally E. So if you look at it, you've actually got two E's. They're an octave apart as well. And then we've got also two C's. They tend to cancel each other out. So we only actually think of this as being three different notes because two of them are repeats of notes that we've already done before in the major triad. Okay, that gives you a C major chord. You could do it with A, you could do it with G, you could do it with any chord. Okay, next edition of 5 Minute Theory, we're going to look at how chords can be constructed in a different order, but they're still the same chord. Okay, let's look at that next.